Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back to Mental Health Moments from a Biblical Perspective. It is your girl, Prophetess Williams, right back at you. Listen, guys, today we're going to talk about mental health and pastors. Pastors and mental health. Listen, guys, pastors are so important to God. They are so important to God that we can find here in the book of Jeremiah, Jeremiah 3 and 15. And it reads, "And I will give you pastors after mine own heart to teach you knowledge and understanding." And so God says that his pastors have his heart. That's how you can tell the difference between a wicked pastor and a godly pastor. A godly pastor has the heart of God. Pastors are so important. We could also find in the book of Ephesians, Ephesians 4 and 10, and it talks about the fivefold ministry. And he gave some apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers. So once again, we see that pastors are important. In fact, Paul said it like this: how can they hear without a preacher? And so I will forever be grateful for my father in the gospel, Apostle W.E. Ford, who taught me godly principles as a very young child, who led me to salvation. He was our Sunday school teacher. He taught us the importance of making sure that we had salvation. And so I am so grateful for my pastors now, Apostle Corey and Pastor TK. I am so grateful for them as well. Sometimes you guys may hear me speak about them. To have godly leadership is so important, especially in this day and age. And so we're going to just dive in and we're going to talk about why it is so important for pastors to make sure that they're taking care of their mental health. John talked about it is God's will that we prosper and be in good health, even as our souls prosper. So it's not just about being in good physical health. It is also about being in good emotional health, mental health, spiritual health, and physical health. And so, pastors, I want to ask you today, how are we doing with our mental health? How are you doing when it comes to your mental health? Pastoring is not an easy job. It may look glamorous, it may look easy, but it's not an easy job. First of all, it is weighty and it is serious because God holds pastors to a high bar. God has pastors leading his sheep, and pastors can either lead sheep to Christ or lead sheep away from Christ. That's how much influence that pastors have. And that's why it's so important that pastors are listening to God, the Father, and not just doing things that they shouldn't be doing, right? Because of the influence and the position and the power that they have. So it's important that they take care of their mental health. We can see in the past few years or so, we started to see, even last year, we started to see pastors leaving ministry. I said, I'm done. I am done with ministry. Maybe some of them completed their assignment. Maybe some of them got burned out. Maybe some of them left prematurely. But we started seeing pastors exit. And hey, if God says exit, we need to exit, right? If God says pass the torch, we need to pass the torch. But there were some pastors who were choosing to die by suicide. They were choosing to end their lives. And it is my belief that when we see people who, such as these pastors, or some of them were leading very mega ministries, they were high profile individuals, and as a professional looking at a situation like that, 9 times out of 10, if someone is leading or goes down that path, they probably have untreated mental health conditions or a condition. And so we don't want to lose any more pastors to suicide. And so that is one reason why someone may have died by suicide, is because of untreated mental health problems. Another reason could be pastors often are viewed as individuals who are living life in a fishbowl, or are living life in a glass house. Everybody sees what you're doing. You're under the microscope. They're often criticized. They're often held to a very humanistic high standard, right? And we know that, they're human. They're not God. They are going to make mistakes. And so sometimes people can't deal with the pressures of, always being under the microscope. And so people may get burnt out. People may not go. They may, come out of ministry. It could just be a number of different reasons. Nevertheless, as a pastor must take care of their mental health. And so there are such thing as sabbatical. Sometimes you have to go on a sabbatical. Sometimes you have to go on vacation. Sometimes you have to step away, allow your assistants, your assistant pastors, call in pastors that you have a network with to help you if you are on the verge of burnout, or if you are just burnt out. A lot of these pastors, guys, they are not just taking care of God's business, but they also have a full-time job. They're trying to manage family. They probably got businesses, side hustles, and trying to take care of everything by themselves. And so that's one of the reasons why the pastors can be burnt out. But it's important for the pastors to understand is that you are not alone. God did not call you to his wife to manage his wife, to take care of things by yourself. And so sometimes you just got to delegate. You have to delegate. Hey, I need you to do this. Hey, I need you to do that, to get things done. But you don't have to do things by yourself. So if that is you that is struggling with asking other people to do things. Listen, use your resources. Use the help that is around you. Don't burn out. Don't tap out. I know that you are the face. I know you want to do it in the spirit of excellence. I know that you're a perfectionist. And that perfectionist, which is only anxiety, probably just needs some treatment. And so it is important. It's important, pastors. I remember as a young child growing up, and there was a great pastor. He was very young, had a family. He was very young. And I remember him preaching the gospel and falling completely dead in the pulpit while preaching the gospel. And then I learned later on it had a lot to do with the demands and the stress of the ministry. Listen, guys, God did not call us to be so stressed behind his wife. He didn't call us to be stressed out and listen, I get it. I've been in ministry. I was in the womb. Okay? Been in ministry from the womb. So I get it. I know the different facets and the different things that happen in ministry. I know about the faithful few. And you trying to do the work of him that sent you. And you got a faithful few. And so it's tough. I get it. It's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. We know that there is a crown of righteousness. Come on. There is, your work is not in vain. And I am happy that somebody stayed with me. So we are thankful for our pastors. We just don't want to lose them. We don't want to lose them. So I want to say to the parishioners and to the lay members out there, if you are one of those that find yourself always calling on the pastor, always needing the pastor, always, pastor, pray for me, pastor, do this, pastor, do that for me, I need this, I need that. Listen, I want to challenge you this year. Let us get to a place where we mature spiritually. Let us get to a place where we come off milk and we eating meat now. And that's especially for some of these seasoned saints, some of these saints that know better. Let's not add to the burnouts. Let's make sure that we are doing our parts. Let's make sure that we are checking in on our pastors. Mondays are critical. You know why? It's because on Mondays, Sunday, your pastor has poured out, has given out, has given life, has spoken hope in a lifeless situation, has prophesied you back. And so with that being said, we want to make sure that we are checking in on them to see if they are okay. We want to make sure, even if it's just hey, pastor, I'm just thinking about you. Hey, pastor, just need to know, did you need this? What you need for me to do? They appreciate that because they got feelings too, right? They dealing with a lot too. Yes, they have to deal with attitudes. They have to deal with rebellion. They have to deal with church hurt. Betrayals, people scrutinizing them, people talking about them. They got to deal with all that too. So they are human. And it feels good when somebody can just stop what they're doing and just check in on you. And so Mondays can be a challenge for pastors. So let's check in on our pastors. Let's cover our pastors in much prayer. Because remember, they watch for our souls. They're the ones that are up praying for us in the midnight hour. They are the ones that are seeking God for a word that just ain't gonna make your feet tickle, but a word that can set you free, a word that can help you go to your next. And so we want to continue to lift up the women and the men and women of the cloth, because they're dear to God's heart. And just like God holds them responsible, he holds us responsible as well on how we treat them, right? And how we take care of them and how we honor them. So pastors, let's make sure that we are checking in with our mental health. Let's make sure that we aren't holding on to those old mindsets that is something wrong with seeing a therapist, that is something wrong with talking to somebody because you're the strong one. And like I was talking about how, when pastors are betrayed, or when saints leave without an excuse, when they leave and they lie. It is good for pastors to process that kind of stuff. And sometimes you need a therapist to help you process that. But getting that stuff out, dealing with it. And sometimes it's just a trauma that a pastor hasn't dealt with prior to. The stress. It's a lot. But you don't have to do it by yourself. And so if you are a pastor who is struggling with your mental health, I want you to do me a favor. Do your loved ones a favor. I want you to be courageous. Search online. Find someone that you can talk to. If you don't want to go in person, you can go online. It's confidential. If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, I encourage you to use the resources. Call 988. We need you. We care about you. God cares about you. And he wants you to be well in 2026. And so let's take care of our pastors. Let's take care of each other. Listen, we are not by ourselves. We are a community of believers. Let's take care of each other. So, this is my challenge for you. If you don't do it today, I want you to check in on your pastor. If you have an online pastor, check in on your pastor. Let's show love. And pastors, let's make sure that we are practicing self-care, that we are making sure that we get our family time in. Come on. Your first ministry is your family. Come on now. We're getting our family time in. We taking care of our physical, our mental, our emotional health. Listen, guys, this has been a mental health moment. Pastors and mental health. I hope that it has blessed you. And until next time, be blessed.